This title, it appeals to me in some way. Am I the asshole for not telling my husband's family that I speak their language? I have a feeling that this is one of those classic situations where somebody's talking trash and the people talking trash don't quite realize that the person they're talking trash about can understand the language, which is like the funniest thing to me. You got to let that settle, you know, and then just randomly bring it up. My husband, Peter, and I have been married for about 3 years. We have one child together, and I was pregnant with our second. I'm Western Canadian while he's from Germany. We lived in Canada for a long time, but because of inflation, moving back to Germany seemed like a better option for us. We bought a nice house in Hanover, where Peter's from. The day after our flights to Germany, we all visited Peter's family. This was the second time I've seen them. The first was at our wedding. They greeted us and brought us inside the house, fussing over my son. We had dinner, and soon we left the house, wanting to settle into our new home. We visited Peter's family often for the next few months, but I had started to realize they would sometimes speak about me in German. They would make rude comments on my hair and makeup, question my fashion choices, and overall were just very unkind to me. They also said mean things about my pregnant belly, which I was already insecure about. Yeah, you gotta whip that out, you know what I mean? There's nothing like knowing that somebody is talking trash about you in another language, and then just kind of whipping out like, hey, just want to make you aware. I know what you're saying. And in their language. Nothing like it. One of the most rewarding things ever. I ended up talking to my husband about this. I told him I didn't like the way they were treating me. I said that I hated how my every choice was judged. He told me that he would talk to his family. The next time that we went to his parents' house, there were no more mean comments. For about 3 months, it was like nothing ever happened. I gave birth to a perfect baby girl that we named Lilith. Peter's family was very upset when they heard the name. If you didn't know, Lilith means ghost or of the night. We didn't pick this name because of its meaning, but because it's a name that every girl in my family has had for many years. My middle name is Lilith, along with my mom's, my grandma's, and even my great-grandma's. So we already know that they're on that weird shit. I love when people, like, they're like, no, you have to understand that for me it means this, and it's like, well, for me it means this other thing, so quite frankly, I don't give a shit. We've done this thing nowadays where it's like, we feel that in order to like put ourselves in other people's shoes or to have empathy for a person, that means we have to agree with everything that they say, which is just not the case. Like there's many situations where it's like, I understand that you're stressed out, but there is a part of me that's also like, but you got to get over it because the world doesn't revolve around you. I feel like a lot of people think that like empathy just means like you always agree with everyone all the time over everything when they're stressed out, when in reality, it's like, you might just say like, hey, I've gone through the same thing. And while I relate to you because it was stressful for me as well, I can tell you that the way you're handling it is not going to get anything done. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's an interesting world we live in right now. But let's see. For a while, I didn't visit my in-laws. I didn't want to hear them talk about how I shouldn't have named my daughter Lilith, but yesterday we saw them again. It was my mother-in-law's birthday. As soon as we showed up, things started to go badly. Everyone wanted to hold Lilith, which made my mother-in-law upset because people weren't paying attention to her and made me overwhelmed. I didn't want people holding her. I was going through a pretty bad postpartum depression, and it was still pretty early to see people. I let people look at her, but declined when anyone asked to hold her. So the mother-in-law is mad at you for bringing your kid because it wants too much attention. You're like, well, I don't know. I get it. I understand. I mean, not really, because I feel like I haven't appreciated a birthday since I was like 12 years old. You know what I mean? Birthdays as an adult male just don't really exist to me. You know, what are you going to get me? A mug? I can get myself a mug. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, my birthdays nowadays just mean like I want to spend time with family, friends, or my significant other, preferably like a date. And that's really it. That's really it. That's all I want to do. But anyways, during dinner, I heard my sister-in-law talking to my mother-in-law in German. I heard her complaining about how she couldn't hold my baby. My sister-in-law even had the audacity, why did I say audacity? Audacity to call me, and I quote, a fat, ugly, hokey addict. I turned to my sister-in-law and mother-in-law and told them off in German. I basically said that I've always known that what they have said about me, but calling me names was the last straw. I also mentioned how I have known German for almost my whole life. The table instantly blew up. People were yelling at me because apparently this was all my fault. I left with Peter, and we haven't talked to them since, so I'm the asshole. I mean, no, you're not the asshole. And if Peter, your husband's on your side, it kind of sounds like he was. Like, he talked to them about it, then they brought it up again, Peter left, you know. I would be pissed off if you ended the story with like, and Peter was saying I overreacted too, but you both leaving and it seeming kind of known. Like, how are they going to say it's all your fault? Dumbasses. They just got mad that they got caught. Assholes are never wrong. True. Assholes are never wrong. Controversial, baby. They just got caught being dickheads. Germans questioning your fashion sense. There's gotta be somebody. Your husband's family sucks? Yes, ma'am. Not the asshole to infinity. There's gotta be somebody. Who's willing to take the risk? Not the asshole. You shouldn't be mad. Let's see. Come on. Somebody's got it. Come on. Super fake story, right? How the postpartum depression slips into the story at the end as a small thing on the side, and the husband doesn't do anything when he hears his family talk trash, or trash talk his wife, who he knows also understands the language. Sorry, I believe most Reddit stories, but this doesn't add up. If this is true, good luck and stay strong. Nobody believes any. You believe most Reddit stories? I have bad news. Most people don't. Thank you for commenting. Postpartum has been something that I have been through before, and that I know many people go through. I honestly didn't think it was a main detail. When my in-laws would talk about me, he was often out of the room. That I assumed that was the case. He wasn't always around because, and this is a wild thing to think about. Just to throw it out there. There is a chance that they know that the husband doesn't want to hear that shit, so they don't say it in front of him because that's his wife. But whatever. I also asked my husband not to tell anyone because it was going to be a surprise on my mother-in-law's birthday. It's good to question things that you see online. I hope you have a good day. She lost me at leaving Canada over inflation, moving to Germany, and buying a nice house in Hanover, lol. I don't know anything about the economics there. Oh, go away. What? I'm sorry. Oh, go away? I'm just gonna, I don't know. That seemed like a reasonable response here. Just because you visit or live in a country doesn't mean you know the language. I have kids that know Spanish and one that doesn't. If I move to China, it will take me a zillion years to learn the language. I'm glad she blew up in their face. What? I think you're the asshole. It's really sad the relationship you have in your in-laws, for sure. Wait, it's really sad the relationship you have with your in-laws for sure, and terrible they said these things about you. But these aren't unusual. What's unusual is why you never mentioned being fluent in German. Maybe they shouldn't have been assholes. Jesus Christ. You should have brought it up to them, because then they would have known to keep their trash talk, behind closed doors. No, thank you. I'm good. Not the asshole here, definitively.